Thanks, Megan. It's great to be here. Siemens has actually been in the U.S. for over 150 years, but it isn't really until the last 10 or 15 years that we've invested heavily here in manufacturing. So over the last 10 years, we've invested over $30 billion here in the U.S. We now have 50,000 employees and about 70 manufacturing facilities. And an amazing thing happened as we started to do that. We realized that the U.S. was not only a great place to manufacture because the market here is big, but it also was a great place for us to drive innovation with research and development, and also a great place to export. So if you go back just 15 or 20 years, Siemens was much smaller in the U.S., and we did very little manufacturing here. Most of what we did here was exported from other countries around the world, primarily from Europe and from Germany. But today, the vast majority of our value added here in the U.S. is manufactured here in the U.S., and in fact, we're a net exporter of about $5 billion out of the U.S. So how's that happen? Well, as we started to build our plants here, we realized that the relationships that we were able to build with the local states and cities, but also the universities and national labs allowed us to move much of our innovation over here. So today, we spend over $1 billion just in the U.S. on innovation, and I'll give you a couple of good examples. We now have the largest light rail train manufacturing facility in the U.S. in Sacramento, California. And at that facility, we now do much of our innovation around light rail. And in fact, Siemens, over about 100 years ago, invented the first electric train. This year, we sold in the Midwest the first electric diesel passenger trains in the U.S. It's the first time we've ever done electric diesel, and we did it with a relationship with Cummins Engine, and also with support from a number of other external players. And now we're doing a lot of the research and development for that right here in the U.S. We recently built a large gas turbine manufacturing facility in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're doing work with the local universities and community colleges there in North Carolina on gas turbine technology. We're also doing a lot of work with other universities around the country, like MIT and others in that area, and also some of the national labs in the Department of Energy on gas turbine technology. So over time, what we realized is not just a great market for us to sell into, but also a great market for us to innovate and take that innovation not just for the U.S. market, but to be able to export globally.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, Lars, you were saying that you were having similar things about location and also some of the integration with the universities, and I don't know if you could hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you, Megan, and also thanks for inviting Novo Nordisk from Denmark. We're the world's biggest biopharmaceutical company, manufacturing insulins and human growth hormones and clotting factors. And we're about at the crossroad that Eric was talking about. Our history so far in the U.S. has primarily, in the manufacturing side, been manufacturing for domestic use in the U.S. But we're standing at a crossroad of making a major investment in the U.S. We're considering making a major investment in the U.S. to move active ingredient manufacturing so that we will have full line manufacturing in the U.S. with a view also to export out of the U.S. The original innovation which my company is founded on came from North America. It was then refined by an American company in the U.S. and by us outside the U.S. And we realized that over time in the pharmaceutical industry, all our processes, all our product development, much like Siemens in a way, are global processes. The products are used globally, and that all throughout the process from idea to commercialization is characterized by partnerships. The original ideas comes from academia, from small biotech companies, from NIH government institutions. They then need to be evaluated, they need to be validated, then they need to be tested, developed. That all happens in collaboration with various types of government institutions and private companies until such time that we go into the regulatory process and have our products approved. And when we start marketing, obviously we are marketing to the private market as well as to the government. So manufacturing in the US for us is easier for the US market because the understanding of the regulatory environment, the high-tech, highly educated engineering staff which is required for our manufacturing, is located right here. So by continuing to invest in the United States, we ensure ourselves that we stay ahead competitively with adopting the latest technology so that we can use it both for our market access in the US but also for our global processes.
Thank you. Yeah.